Happy Wednesday. So I found that Wednesdays for me have now become like a check-in point of, okay, half the week is over, and did we want that part to go like we wanted it to go? And now we've still got half a week to fix it or stay steady with the plan. And so this is something that I feel like I've just wanted to start doing and just talking, because I know that the conversations that I've been able to have with people, COVID has definitely changed that, right? It's forced the world to pivot, and I feel like I'm doing that all the time in life, which isn't a bad thing. And so I love the season of Christmas. Not only it's my favorite holiday, but those 2 weeks kind of over Christmas and New Year's, I really take them off, like from work. And in a sense, I mean, I spend a lot of downtime with family, but the work changes. I read books and I just spend some time to think and pray and plan and vision and dream. And it's a fun 2 weeks of work. And so one of the books that I had pulled out that I wanted to read during that time was Sticky Faith. And all of a sudden I realized I have a 6th grader. I have a middle schooler. And so back in my former life, Lando and I were middle school, high school youth directors. We ran camps, which were a lot focused on middle school, high school programming. Hey, Olivia, I'm going to talk about the Bible recap, because that's what I want you to join me. We were talking about that. Anyhow, so I was super excited about, because I have this kid that is in that age group that I spent so much time working with before I became a parent. And in working with that age group, I worked with the parents, and I saw beautiful things happen. I saw disconnect and breakdown. I saw kids just glow in their faith and let their faith just transform who they are becoming. And I've also seen kids throw it down and walk away. And so realizing, okay, now I have a 6th grader. Now, little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems. And man, did January 2021 hit us with something we never saw coming. So anyway, this is one of my books. But in my discerning and processing with my team, I wrote the Discernment Dialogues. And so there are several pages of just worksheets to think and plan, just to prompt you to think about what actually truly matters to you. What are your values? What's super important to you? What's the life you want to be living, not the one you're just coasting through? And so, of course, when I make that stuff for my team, I have to do it myself. And so I spent a lot of time working on that. And one of the thing that trumped most of it was faith. And I think pastors' wives, we don't have it all together. Can I get an amen, Olivia? And even I worked in ministry for a long time, and I think sometimes my faith got caught up in my job, and that it was tough to separate the two. And then when I wasn't working in ministry, it was like, oh, wait a minute, where did that go? I'm kind of floundering out here. And so, yeah, we don't have it all together. And I will say that faith has been kind of on the side burner. It's always there. I think it's a gift that's just always there. But I know that I want that to play a more prevalent role, because I recognize my kids coming in. Thanks for the amen. I recognize my kids coming into this phase of their life where they're making their own choices. I don't get to decide all the things anymore like I do with Reese, who's 2. And so I was watching Facebook, scrolling Facebook. Hey, Brandy. Hey, Katie. I was scrolling Facebook like I shouldn't have been doing. And I saw another Usborne friend was sharing about the Bible recap and reading the Bible in a year. And my initial gut reaction was like, oh, that's nice, but I don't have time for that. Not this year. I think I'll put that off for next year. And then I caught myself saying, what the heck? You just went through all this stuff. Faith is your main value, but you don't have time to spend any time with God. No time for the Bible. That's just, and I just started laughing at myself. I'm like, okay, so here we go, right? So the Bible recap is a read through the year plan, and there's a podcast that's with it. And I thought, oh, okay, so the podcast might help, because I get lost, in the genealogy, and stuff starts to not make sense, and then I stop reading the Bible. And so I was like, ooh, a podcast though, it's only 6 minutes, and that'll explain to me all the stuff that I have no clue. Because again, pastors' wives don't have it all together. even people that worked in ministry, and I've led people through the Bible, but I've never actually read it. Like, how hypocritical was that? So anyhow, I bought a Bible, this one, because get this, I didn't even know where my Bible was. Like, all confession here. I don't know if they're in Lando's stash Bibles, because he, has an office full of them, and he uses like 3 or 4 to write a sermon every week because he loves translations. So I was like, okay, this is my excuse to get myself a Bible. And this one, I wound up going with the ESV translation, which is not one that I've used before. But I kind of like it. So it's big and open, right? So there's and there's kind of some pretty drawings in it. Oh, like that right there. So that makes me happy and makes me feel like I'm not so drenched in text. So basically, like, they give you some reading and then you listen to the podcast, and it really only takes like 20 minutes, right? So I thought, okay, I can do this, right? But I didn't stop there. So then I did, my leaders, we all did like a gift exchange, and several of them got this. And it was this prayer journal. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I need that. And so it kind of gives you all kinds of prompts, because this is one thing, I don't know about you, but my prayer life usually lasts about 30 seconds, and then it morphs into my to-do list for the day. And and sometimes I'll actually pray about that to-do list, but it's more kind of asking God to get it all done for me or help me figure out how to get it done. But it has nothing to do with like pausing and just trying to figure out, what is his plan? Because when I'm in line with that, life just moves a lot smoother, right? And so 2 of them had this, and I was like, ooh, I think I might just add that in, right? Because I could do prayer right after I do the Bible. It won't add that much time, right? It didn't stop there. So then I saw another Uzzy friend, who's also a pastor's wife, share that she discovered this book, Praying Through the Bible with Your Kids. And so this one has a little scripture verse at the top and kind of a little devotional, and then there's a prayer at the bottom that you can say. And I was like, ooh, that's good, because the whole reason I started on this journey was because of this, right? It's about my kids, and God has entrusted 4 amazing little people to me, and my prayer, ever since they were little, was, God, please take care of this child and help me to do the same. Like, I think I've always had that perspective that these kids are not mine. Like, they're entrusted to me, they're here for a little bit, and so this is what I feel like my calling is as a parent. It's just to pass that faith on to them. And so what better way to do it than praying for them? So my Bible routine turned into this kind of bigger production. And my mom gave me this bag for Christmas, and I remember it says, from the fullness of his grace, we have all received one blessing after another, John 1:16. So thank you, Mom. I got this for Christmas. I opened it up, and it's a really nice bag. And so in one breath, I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then in the second breath, I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with that? Like, how many bags do I have sitting all over the house? And I just need to purge bags. Anybody else need to purge like 100 bags? And so I'm kind of in this, I want to minimize my life, and only have stuff around me that I actually use on a daily basis. Well, that was God laughing, because now all of a sudden I use this bag on a daily basis. All these books sit in this bag with erasable pens because I love them. They don't last as long and they're expensive, but they're so worth it. That bag goes with me everywhere. Like, it's in the car because sometimes I get it done while I'm waiting for a kid activity, or now I'm down in my office. Sometimes it's just hanging out. Yes, Olivia, we need to start a little club. But so sometimes I'm just in my bedroom, I've got earbuds, so now I'm really excited to do that. Reese will actually sit and listen. He likes to listen to the podcast, guys. So I'll read the U Bible app. It actually reads it to you, and so I love that. I play that while I'm following along in my Bible, and Reese will join me, and he starts to repeat the most random words, and he can get out some of the weird genealogy weirds or names of things that I'm like, I don't even know how to say that. So that's been fun that he kind of gets involved with that. But this whole walk of I don't have time for the Bible has morphed into something so beautiful, and it's challenged me in so many ways. And so right now, what I'm doing is I'm gonna be doing some work, but then I'm leading an agape group. And so what is that? I used to be a middle school, high school youth director and with Lando, and we had started this program called Agape. And it was for our high school kids, and it was because faith is something that is caught more than it is taught, right? And from my work in the past and working with middle school, high school, and working with their parents, I realized that kids need significant adult relationships more than just their parents. And so I know that Diem is in middle school and she is going to hit some stuff, and she is not going to want to tell her mom. She's not going to want to tell her dad, even though we try to keep this, culture in our home of trust and just open communication. There are going to be times she doesn't want to. And so how do I help her establish those significant adult relationships with other people? And so what Agape turned into is, rather than youth group in church, where it was a big mass, we were a big church, it was broken down into small groups in families' homes before a pandemic, right? And so there would be a couple of leaders, and it was really about not so much imparting knowledge and wisdom, but it was, why does this matter? Opening the conversation of, why does faith matter, and where does that trust come from? And so when Diem hit 6th grade, we're in a really tiny church that is the most amazing church on the planet, but I realized that doesn't exist in the church. And so if it doesn't exist, you have to create it. So I tried to find all my old materials, couldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna just start this. So Diem and 4 of her friends, they're all 6th graders, and so we are doing an Agape group. And what Agape is it's about faith, and it's about leadership, and it's those two things combined. And I think if I can raise my kids to be anything, I want them to be, those faithful leaders that have that servant heart. And so adding to the plate, that's where we started in this fall. And then the host family was a close contact, and then we were a close contact, and then it's kind of spiraled. And so this is day 2, even though it's been like 3 months in, but it's one of those things. It's like, oh, do I really have time to do this? But I think when you're feeling that, do I really have time? Then the clear answer is yes, because if it's on your heart that much, you probably should do it. So that is what I am off to do this afternoon. So prayers for that, because I think young people, I don't know, I'm on the parent side, right? It was a lot easier, I think, on the youth director side, on the cool camp director side, where I just got to be the cool kid for these kids and not the parent. And so now I kind of I'm looking at playing a little bit of a double role in that. But so anyway, I just wanted to start an online conversation, because that's kind of where our conversations are in a pandemic. And I would love any thoughts that you have, any wisdom that you have. Maybe there's books that you read, maybe there's things that you're doing with your kids, because we are in this together. It's faith is not an isolated street. God created us to be in community, and that just looks different now. So I would love any feedback that you have on this, and because I think we're gonna be ready for more curveballs. Our big thing in January, talking about Diem and her friends, we pulled Diem out of school, and our school is amazing, and our teachers are amazing, and for all the teachers out there, what you do is truly amazing, and the hoops that you've had to jump through right now, this has no reflection on the school, but it was really hard for me to take a step back of everything I thought I knew about my parenting and kids going to school, and they're in a Spanish immersion program. I can't teach them that, but we made the decision to pull her out of school, and it is the best decision we ever made, because I see that light back in my kid, and I could have only made that decision coming from a place of strength and faith, and just trusting that, okay, there's something bigger at play here, and I just got to take the leap of faith and go with it. And so we've pulled her out, and the doors that have opened, the opportunities, the joy, and the new connections, it's really been phenomenal. And I'm not saying pull your kid out of school, but I am saying that there's big decisions coming, and I don't think this pandemic is the only thing there. But when you have that kind of grounding in that it's not just all on you to make the right decision. I'm not going to screw my kid up if I pull her out of school. I'm not going to screw up if I put her in school. But it's just having that faith to trust that you're not in this alone. And so thanks for watching, if you took the time to watch this, and I would love any feedback you have. I know somebody asked about some of the links for these books, and I will share them, because my Amazon cart is a little dangerous sometimes. All right, have a fabulous day, everybody, and use your Wednesday to reflect back on the first part of your week. Did that go the way you wanted it to go? Because you still got the other half of the week left, and you can totally flip it on your head. If you need help, let me know. I'm always here for a sounding board. Have a good day, guys. Bye.